4 million years ago in East Africa, our ancestors were just another animal. They scavenged leftovers from kills and were regularly hunted by larger predators. For millions of years, they sat squarely in the middle of the food chain. The popular image of a hunched ape marching in a straight line toward modern humanity gets the biology wrong. Up until about 10,000 years ago, Homo sapiens lived side by side with at least 5 other distinct human species, from the Neanderthals and freezing European climates to Homo erectus in tropical Asia. This chart shows the biological turning point. When our ancestors discovered fire, they began cooking their food. Cooked meat and plants take significantly less effort to chew and digest. Over generations, this allowed humans to survive with smaller teeth and a shorter intestinal tract, creating an energy surplus. That surplus energy was redirected upward. Our brains ballooned in size. While a modern human brain accounts for only 2 to 3% of our body weight, it consumes 25% of our resting energy. This raw computational power gave us the ability to craft better tools, coordinate hunts, and take down much larger, stronger animals. Still, a larger brain only goes so far. A single human is physically fragile and easily overpowered by a lion or a shark. Looking at the fossil record, biology alone cannot explain how a localized African primate suddenly rose to the top of the global food chain. Roughly 70,000 years ago, a shift occurred in the sapiens' brain, the cognitive revolution. It allowed our ancestors to think and communicate in ways that completely separated us from the rest of the animal kingdom. To understand it, look at our closest living relatives. Chimpanzees form complex social hierarchies, but they rely entirely on face-to-face contact. Because of this biological limit, a chimp troop cannot naturally exceed about 50 individuals without the social order collapsing. Early sapiens bypassed this cap through language. Specifically, we developed the ability to talk about things that do not physically exist. We invented stories, spirits of the forest, tribal myths, and legends. Because an imagined reality is held in the mind, you don't need to know someone personally to trust them. 2 sapiens who had never met could cooperate because they both believed in the same myth. This allowed us to organize in the hundreds and eventually the thousands. Operating in coordinated groups, sapiens poured out of East Africa. Wherever we migrated, the local megafauna went extinct. The Neanderthals and Homo erectus were wiped out, outmaneuvered by a species that could coordinate across vast distances. We became the apex predator of the planet because we learned to live simultaneously in 2 worlds, the physical reality of biology and the imagined world of shared fictions. Then, about 10,000 years ago, humans made another shift. We stopped foraging, built permanent settlements, and started farming. From a strictly evolutionary standpoint, farming worked. We produced far more calories per square mile, which allowed the human population to grow from a few million to hundreds of millions in a few thousand years. But for the individual, the quality of life dropped. Ancient foragers worked roughly 30 hours a week, enjoying diverse diets of nuts, fruits, and meats. The new farmers worked grueling 60-hour weeks, clearing rocks and harvesting grain. By relying on a single crop, they became vulnerable to famines. And living with domesticated livestock introduced a permanent wave of deadly infectious diseases. To manage the volume of people packed into these dense settlements, sapiens scaled up their imagined realities. To keep millions of strangers cooperating, we invented 3 overriding global fictions: empires to govern the land, religion to dictate laws of nature, and money to facilitate trade. Sapiens had fallen into a trap. We secured the survival of our species, but traded away the health and freedom of the individual to support sprawling, heavy societal obligations. Production remained relatively static until 500 years ago, when European cultures broke from tradition. Instead of assuming their ancient texts held all the answers, they openly admitted their ignorance. This pursuit of the unknown launched the scientific revolution. Science merged with capitalism through a powerful new fiction, credit. It's a financial reality built on collective trust that tomorrow will be wealthier than today. By borrowing against the future, investors could fund massive global expeditions and relentless scientific research. This system of reinvested capital financed a global wave of discovery, ultimately paving the way for the Industrial Revolution. For millennia, humans were limited by muscle and sun, the physical labor of man and animals fed by plants. Industry broke that limit by burning coal to generate steam, converting ancient stored heat into mechanical motion. To keep these machines running, human behavior had to be standardized. The ancient joint family system was systematically broken down. The state took over, mandating public schooling and replacing natural rhythms with the synchronized exactness of the 9-to-5 workday. Using the fictions of capitalism and industry, Sapiens rebuilt the entire physical world into a massive engine designed for continuous economic growth. For close to 4 billion years, every single organism on Earth evolved according to the slow, blind rules of natural selection. Today, we break those rules. Through genetic engineering and artificial intelligence, we are actively rewriting the code of life, shifting to intelligent design. We have achieved command over the elements, holding godlike power to create and destroy at a planetary scale. Yet internally, our hardware hasn't caught up. We navigate a digital society using brains hardwired for an ancient savanna. We are stripped of our tribes and detached from our evolutionary roots, resulting in steep modern rises in isolation, anxiety, and suicide. In just over 4 million years, sapiens transformed from terrified, insignificant apes hiding from predators into the undisputed rulers of the earth. We are now engineering our own consciousness. This brings us to a question more pressing than our physical form. What do dissatisfied gods want to want?